The country of Persia was also similar to India and China, and many kings were under it. The king there was very majestic and very bright, and was loved by the people because of his justice. That emperor had 2 sons, in whom the name of the elder boy was Shahryar, and the name of the younger boy was Shahzaman. Both the princes were virtuous, brave, patient and polite. When the emperor died, Prince Shahryar ascended the throne and handed over the kingdom of the Tartar country to his younger brother, who respected him a lot. Gave army and treasury. Shahzaman was ready to obey his elder brother and started living comfortably by making Samarkand, which was the best and bigger than all the cities of the world, his capital for the management of the country. When both of them had been separated for 10 years, the elder wanted to send someone to call him to him. He ordered his minister to call him, and the minister left with great fanfare after getting this order. When he reached near the city of Samarkand, Shahzaman, hearing this news, left his capital with an army to receive him and reached outside the city and met the minister. He was pleased to see her. Shahzaman started inquiring about the well-being of his brother Shahryar. The minister bowed down to Shahzaman and asked about the condition of his brother. That minister was the ultimate follower of Emperor Shahryar and loved him. Shahzaman told him that, "Brother, I was very happy that my elder sent you to pick me up. His command is my head. If God wills, I will go with you after preparing for the journey in 10 days and appointing my representative in the administration. Everything will be arranged for food and drink for you and your army. So you stay at this place." Therefore, arrangements were made for food and drink at the same place, and they stayed there. On this occasion, the emperor made preparations for the journey and appointed his trusted minister in his place. One day in the evening he took leave of his begum, who was very dear to him, and left Samarkand with his servants and companions and reached his camp and started talking with the minister. At midnight, he wished to meet the begum once again. He secretly reached the palace alone. The begum did not even suspect his arrival. She was sleeping with one of her lowly and ugly servants. Shahzaman had come thinking that the begum would be very happy to see him. Seeing her sleeping with another man, he was paralyzed for a moment. After recovering a bit, I started thinking whether I have got an illusion of vision. But even after seeing the same thing, when I found the same thing, I started thinking what a disaster it is that I have not even come out of the defense wall of Samarkand city yet, and such actions started happening. He started burning with anger and took out his sword and hit his hands in such a way that both their heads were cut off and came under the bed. After this, he returned to his camp after throwing both the bodies into the pit below through the back window. He didn't tell anyone about the night. The army started on the 2nd day in the morning. Everyone else with him was passing the way happily, but Shahzaman used to remember the bad deeds of his wife, and his face used to turn pale day by day. His whole journey was spent in this suffering. When he reached near the capital of India and Shahryar heard this, he came with all his courtiers to request Shahzaman. When both of them reached each other, they got down from their respective horses, hugged each other, and after asking about each other's well-being for some time left with great ceremony. Shahryar lodged Shahzaman in a palace that had been pre-decorated for him and which overlooked the garden. That palace was big and welcoming to kings. Then Shahryar asked his brother to take a bath. Shahzaman took a bath and put on new clothes, and the 2 brothers sat on the platform of the palace and talked for a long time. All the courtiers stood at their respective places in front of both the emperors. Even after the meal, both the kings kept talking for a long time. When the night was over, Shahryar left his brother in the hospitality house and went to his palace. Shahzaman again mournfully kept rolling on his bed, shedding tears. He kept hiding his sorrow in front of his brother, but as soon as he was alone, the same sorrow overcame him and his pain increased such that it would leave him only after taking his life. He could not forget the misdeeds of his wife even for a moment. He would often wake up crying and always heaving cold breaths. He could not sleep at night. In this sorrow and anxiety, his body slowly started dissolving. When Shahryar saw his condition, he thought that I love Shahzaman so much and take care of his comforts so much, yet I always see him immersed in an ocean of sorrow. Don't know whether he is worried about his kingdom, or the separation of his wife is troubling him. I unnecessarily put it in grief by calling it here. Now it would be appropriate to send him back to Samarkand, after pacifying him, and giving him the best gifts, so that his sorrow can be removed. Thinking of this, he sent the valuable things of the country of India to Shahzaman by putting them in plates and made various games and shows to entertain him, but Shahzaman's sadness did not decrease, but kept increasing. Then Shahryar said to his courtiers, that he has heard that after 2 days' journey from here there is a dense forest and good prey is available there. So I want to go hunting there. You guys also get ready and come with me and ask Shahzaman to go too, because he will enjoy hunting and his mind will be happy. Shahzaman requested that my health is not good, so please excuse me from going hunting. Shahryar said, good thing, if you want to stay here then stay, but I have made preparations. I go hunting with my servants. After Shahryar left, Shahzaman locked the doors of his residence from inside and went to a window. The garden of the royal palace was visible from there. Shahzaman began to entertain himself with fragrant flowers and chirping of birds. But even after being entertained by the beauty of the house and the garden, he would still have the pain of his wife's misbehavior. When evening came, Shahzaman saw that one of the back doors of the palace opened and Shahryar's Begum came out with 20 other women. They were all decked up in fine clothes and ornaments and came to the garden in the belief that everyone had gone hunting. Shahzaman sat hiding in the window and started watching what she was doing. The maids took off the robes they were wearing when they came out of the palace. Now his face is clearly visible. Shahzaman was surprised to see that out of 20 whom he had thought to be women, 10 were Negro men. All 10 of them held the hand of the maidservant of their choice. Only the Begum was left without a man. Then the wife called out, Masood, Masood. At this a stout Negro youth, who was waiting for his orders, came down from a tree, and ran towards the Begum and took hold of her hand. I will not be able to describe in shame what those 11 Negroes did to the 10 maids and the wife. Like this, they kept roaming in the garden till midnight. Then after taking a bath in the tank of the garden, the Begum and the 20 men and women accompanying her put on their clothes and entered the palace through the door from which the thief had come, and Masood also went out by jumping over the wall of the garden. Shahzaman was very surprised to see this incident. He thought that I am sad, my elder brother is more sad than me. Although he is very powerful and glorious, yet he is unable to stop this misdeed, then why should I mourn so much? When I came to know that this vile act often happens in the world, then I unnecessarily drown myself in the ocean of sorrow. Thinking of this, he left all worries and lived simply. Earlier his hunger had gone, now he woke up, and he started eating different types of delicious dishes, and started enjoying music, dance, etc. When Shahryar returned from hunting, Shahzaman welcomed him very happily. Shahryar showed him many animals that he had hunted and said that it is a pity that you did not go hunting, there is a place of great joy. Shahzaman used to answer everything of the emperor with a smile. Shahryar had thought that he would be able to drown Shahzaman in grief and sorrow even on his return, but on the contrary, seeing him happy and satisfied, he said, "O brother, many thanks to God that I saw you happy and disease-free in a short period of time. Now I ask you one thing by swearing, you must tell that thing." Shahzaman said, "I will definitely tell you whatever you ask." Shahryar said, "When you came here from your capital, I saw you drowned in the ocean of sorrow. I took many measures to please your mind, made you perform various games and shows, but your condition remained the same. I thought a lot that what could be the reason for this sadness, but I could not understand any reason other than that you are sad about the separation of your wife, and are worried about the management of the state. But what happened now that made your sorrow and anxiety go away?" Shahzaman remained silent on hearing this, but when Shahryar asked the same question again and again, he said, "You are my master, you are bigger than me. I will not answer this question, because it is a matter of great shamelessness." Shahryar said that I will not be at peace until you tell me this. Shahzaman was forced to describe in detail the misdeeds of his wife, and said that I used to be sad because of this. Shahryar said, "Brother, you told this very surprising, impossible thing. It was very good of you to kill such an adulteress along with her lover. No one can call you unjust in this matter. If I were in your place, I would not be satisfied with killing one woman, I would have killed thousands of women. Tell me, how did this grief go away when I went out?" Shahzaman said, "I am afraid to say this lest you should be more saddened to hear this than I am." Shahryar said that, "Brother, you have increased my eagerness by saying this, now I will not be able to rest without listening to this, so definitely tell this thing." Being forced, Shahzaman told the whole condition of Masood, 10 maids and Begum, and said, "I have seen this incident with my own eyes and understood that there is wickedness and sin in the nature of all women, and man should not trust them. Seeing all this incident, I have forgotten my sorrow, and that is why I look healthy and happy." Shahryar did not believe his brother's statement even after hearing this condition. He said in an angry voice, "Are all the wives of our country adulterers? I won't believe what you say until I see it with my own eyes. It is possible that you are confused." Shahzaman said, "Brother, if you want to see yourself, then do so that order for hunting again. Let us both march out of the city with the army. Stay in your tents all day long, and sit quietly in this house at night. Then surely you will see with your own eyes all the business that I have told you." Shahryar accepted this and ordered the courtiers that tomorrow I will go hunting again. So, the next morning both the brothers went hunting and went outside the city and stayed in their camps. When the night came, Shahryar called the minister and ordered that I was going for some important work. "You should not let any army man go from here." After that both the brothers came secretly to the city riding on horses, and before dawn came to the same window of Shahzaman's palace from which Shahzaman had seen the whole incident. Just before sunrise, the back door of the palace opened, and in some time the Begum came out from there with the same Negroes dressed as women and came to the garden and called Masood. Seeing this whole situation, which is neither worth saying nor listening to, Shahryar started saying in his mind that, "Hey, God, what a disaster it is that the wife of a great Nripati like me should be such an adulterer." Then he said to Shahzaman that it would be better if we leave this transitory world in which one moment is of joy and the other of sorrow, and leave our countries and armies and spend the rest of our lives in other countries, and talk about this abominable business. Don't say anything to anyone. Shahzaman did not like this thing, but seeing his brother's very sad condition, he did not think it right to refuse and said, "Brother, I am your follower and will obey your orders completely. But I have a condition. When you see someone suffering from this misfortune more than you, then return to your country." Shahryar said, "I accept this condition of yours, but I think that no human being in the world will suffer like us." Shahzaman said, "You will come to know this very well after traveling a little." So both of them hid and went outside the city by a deserted road. After walking the whole day, sleeping under a tree at night. On the second day in the morning, they went further from there and while walking reached a beautiful garden, which was built on the banks of a river. In this garden, there were thick and big trees growing far and wide. There, sitting under a tree, they relaxed and started talking. It was only a short while that both of them were extremely frightened and started trembling after hearing a terrible word. After some time, saw that there was a crack in the water of the river, and a black pillar started coming out of it. It rose so high that its upper part disappeared into the clouds of the sky. Seeing this incident, both the brothers got even more scared and climbed a tall tree, and sat hiding in its branches and leaves. He saw that Kala Kamba started moving towards the bank of the river, and came to the bank and transformed into a great terrible monster. Now both of them got even more nervous, and sat on another high branch. When the demon came to the river bank, he saw that on his head was a big and strong chest of lead with 4 brass locks. The demon came to the river bank, and removed the chest from his head, and placed it under the same tree where both the brothers were hiding. Then he opened the 4 locks of the chest one by one with 4 keys hanging from his waist. When the box was opened, a very beautiful woman came out of it, who was decorated with the best clothes and ornaments. The demon looked at the woman with love and said, "Dear, you are unique in beauty. It's been a long time since I took you away on your wedding night. You have been very blameless and loyal to me all this time. I am very sleepy right now, so I want to sleep near you." Saying this, the monster with a very terrible shape was sleeping with his head on the thigh of that woman. His body was so huge that his feet were touching the water of the river. The sound of his breath while sleeping was like thundering clouds. The whole atmosphere was vibrating with that sound. Once by chance when the woman looked up, she saw both the brothers hiding in the leaves. He signaled both of them to get down. Realizing his purpose, the fear of both of them increased further. Both of them begged him by gesture to let us hide on the tree itself. The woman slowly took the demon's head off her lap, and placed it on the earth, and got up and gave him patience, and said that there is nothing to be afraid of. You come down and sit near me. She also threatened that if you don't come, I will wake up the demon and he will kill both of you. Hearing this, they were very scared and came down silently. The woman smilingly took both of them by the hand and took them under a tree, and asked them to have sex with her. At first both of them denied, but then fearing her threat, they did as she wanted with her. After this the woman asked him for each of his rings. Then he took out a small box, and asked them, "Do you know what is in it and why?" They said, "We don't know, you tell what is in it." That beauty said, "There are signs in this of those who have had a relationship with me like you. These were 98 rings and when you got 2, they became 100. Even after such strict monitoring of this monster, I have done such arbitrariness 100 times. This mischievous demon is so attached to me that he does not separate me from himself even for a moment, and with great care hides me in this leaden chest, and keeps it at the bottom of the ocean. But despite all his cleverness and defense arrangements, I do whatever I want and all the arrangements of this poor thing become useless. Now understand from my condition that when a woman is in lust, no one can stop her from raping." After this she came to her place with his rings. He then put the demon's head in his lap and signaled to both of them to go away. Both left from there, and when they had gone far away, Shahzaman said to his elder brother Shahryar, "Look, even with such security and strict arrangements, this woman is fulfilling her heart's desire. See also how much confidence the demon had in him and how he was praising his impeccability. Now you tell justly whether this poor man has more misfortune than us or not. We found what we had set out to find. Now we should go to our respective countries, and do not marry any woman, because hardly any woman is innocent." Therefore, Shahryar did as per the suggestion of his younger brother, and from there both went to Shahryar's capital. After 3 nights they reached their armies. Shahryar did not want to go hunting any further and returned to the capital. Going to the palace, he ordered the minister to take the begum and give her the death penalty. The minister did the same as per the order of the king. Then Shahryar killed the 10 adulterous maids with his own hands. After this, Shahryar thought that he should take such a measure that after marriage, my wife could not get the opportunity to commit misdeeds. So he decided to get married at night, and get the wife killed in the morning itself. After that he bade farewell to his brother Shahzaman. He went to Samarkand, with his army taking the invaluable gifts given by Shahryar. After Shahzaman's departure, he ordered his prime minister to bring a noble's daughter for marriage. The prime minister raised the daughter of a rich man. Shahryar married her and after spending the whole night with him, ordered the minister in the morning to take him away and kill him, and for the night, bring the beautiful daughter of a chieftain to me for marriage. The minister killed that wife and brought another rich's daughter in the evening and killed her the next day. Similarly, Shahryar married the daughters of hundreds of rich Sardars, and got them killed the next morning. Now it is the turn of ordinary citizens. At the same time, the news of this heinous injustice spread everywhere. The voices of mourning, anger, and crying started rising in the whole city. Somewhere the father used to cry 8 tears on the death of his daughter, somewhere the girl's mother used to eat leaves. The parents and relatives of the girls who were still alive were very sad. Many people left the country with their daughters and settled in other countries. Somewhere the girl's mother used to eat pakhad. The parents and relatives of the girls who were still alive were very sad. Many people left the country with their daughters and settled in other countries. The minister there had 2 unmarried daughters. The elder's name was Shahrazad and the younger's name was Duniyazad. Shahrazad was sharper than her sister and friends. Whatever she heard or saw in any book, she never forgot it. She was also proficient in the quality of conversation. He remembered by heart the stories and poems of very ancient sages, and himself was expert in composing prose and poetry. Apart from all these qualities, she also had unique beauty. One day she told father that I want to tell you something, but you have to obey me. The minister said, if your words are agreeable, I will definitely agree. Shahrazad said that I am determined to stop the king from this injustice, which he is doing, and to make the parents of the girls who are still left worry-free. The minister said, daughter, how can you stop this massacre? What remedy can you have to stop this injustice? Shahrazad said, it is in your hands. I swear to you that get me married to the king. The minister started trembling after hearing this and said, daughter, have you gone mad? Who is talking such nonsense? Don't you know the vow of the king? You talk thoughtfully. How will you be able to stop the king from this injustice? She will unnecessarily lose her life. Shahrazad said, I know very well the king's vow, but I will not leave this thought of mine in any way. If I am killed like other girls, then I will get freedom from this useless world, and if I dissuade the king from this tyranny, then I will be able to do a lot of good to the residents of my city. The minister said, I cannot accept your wish in any way. How can I knowingly put you in such a dire situation? It is strange that you tell me to do the stuff of my death. Which father would even think of doing this for his beloved child? You may not be dear to your life, but I cannot bear to dye my hands with your blood. Shahryar still remained adamant on his stubbornness and prayed for marriage. The minister said, you are unnecessarily making me angry. Why do you want to die? Why are you so angry with your life? Listen, whoever does something without thinking, has to repent later. I am afraid that your condition may not become like that of a donkey, who lived happily, but fell into misery due to foolishness. Shahrazad said, "Tell me this story." The minister narrated the story.